Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Harry Hoffman. This is the Double H Show. Tiger Woods tees off in Abu Dhabi in the first and second round. The Australian Open gets closer to the finish, and Prince Fielder signs a huge deal with the Detroit Tigers. We got a big show today. Let's do it. This is the Double H Show. Start out with Tiger Woods out in Abu Dhabi. He shoots a 2 under 70 in the first round and just finished his 3 under 69 in the second round. He is now 2 off the lead. Roger Federer ousted in the semifinals of the Australian Open, losing to Rafael Nadal in 4 sets. And it's been a long wait for Roger Federer. His last major win being in 2010 at the Aussie Open. Now, both Roger Federer and Tiger Woods getting their 2012 underway, and the question has come up, who will win the first major between those two? And I think it's tough to say because they're both getting a little bit older in their careers. Their prime is definitely past them, but certainly in tennis it's going to be harder for Roger Federer to pull out a win. Having to go through Rafa Nadal and Novak Djokovic, who's coming off the best year of his career in each major. So I think Tiger will win a major before Roger does, just based on the fact that it's tough enough to win 1 or 2 sets against Rafa and Djokovic in a match, and to beat both of them in the same tournament just seems nearly impossible for all competitors. So I think Roger's aging, and although he's playing at a very high level, to go through those two and to win a title is just going to be very difficult. On the other hand, Tiger Woods, coming off the win in the Chevron Challenge to end his 2011, I think he's looking physically more in shape and definitely striking the ball well. And when you hear Tiger say that he's playing well, you know that the rest of the field must be getting a little scared. They try to say that they're not intimidated by him anymore. But you know when Tiger gets in the zone and he starts rolling in putts and you hear the Tiger roars, you know you're going to get a little frightened because we all know what he's capable of. I think once he gets his putting down, I think he's going to be very tough to beat. And of course, the major in Augusta for the Masters in April. Nobody knows that course better than he does. And even in the past 2 years after the scandal and everything, even being away from the game for a while, he's finished in the top 5. It's just something about that place that makes him step up to the plate. So I think I'm picking him to win the Masters this year, and I think he's going to win a major before Roger Federer. Tiger looks good to me. I've seen him play so far a little bit in Abu Dhabi, and just when he starts rolling those putts in, he's going to be tough to beat. He hit 17 of 18 greens in the first round. He missed the first green, and since then it was just great ball striking, fun to watch. I think Tiger has the upper hand over Federer at the moment. In other news, the NFL, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hire Rutgers Scarlet Knights coach Greg Schiano after going through many candidates, including Chip Kelly, head coach of Oregon. So, you know, I don't like this move for both sides, for Rutgers and for the Bucs, because Greg Schiano at 11 seasons at Rutgers was 16-19 overall in what everybody thinks to be a pretty weak Big East conference. He did take them to 6 bowl games, but he did not get them any Big East championships, nor did he get them to a BCS bowl. And it's tough. One thing, it's tough for college coaches to enter the NFL because it's such a big transition, and some of the guys who have done a good job, obviously, like Jim Harbaugh, coming from Stanford. He's worked, obviously he worked with Andrew Luck and other pro-style players in a pro-style offense, and he took that to San Francisco and obviously turned that franchise around. But for Pete Carroll, who was a tremendous success at USC, his transition to Seattle has been a little rough so far. Even though they made the playoffs in his first year, they did go 7-9 the regular season, and they did go 7-9 again this season, failing to make the postseason. And of course, we all know what happened to Nick Saban. He was the head coach of LSU, won a national championship, went to the Miami Dolphins. Everybody thought he was the next big thing, going to turn that franchise around, and it just didn't happen. It was a bust, and he goes back to the college game. And I think some coaches are just meant to coach in college. For example, Nick Saban and Joe Paterno, and I think Greg Schiano belongs in that conversation because he has trouble. He had trouble motivating his players in big games. Rutgers had a chance to win a share of the Big East title if they could have pulled out a win against Connecticut in the last regular season game, and they just got absolutely crushed. He has produced some NFL talent, but losing to the likes of South Florida, Connecticut, and Louisville, and having a losing record as head coach of Rutgers, I just don't think that will transition well to the NFL, and I think it's going to be tough for the Buccaneers to turn that franchise around. And another thing with Schiano, he leaves with 5 days left before National Signing Day. Rutgers trying to move in the right direction. They switched to a pro-style offense last season, trying to build on that with their quarterback situation, Chaz Dodd and Gary Nova. And to leave 5 days before National Signing Day when you already don't have any recruits committed that are in the ESPNU top 150. So to not have any of those recruits and to have maybe some decommit or some not even consider Rutgers anymore, I think it's going to be a tough loss for this program who thought they were, building upon a good base. So I think this whole hiring Schiano for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I don't think it bodes well for Tampa Bay or Rutgers itself. I think it was a very risky move by Tampa Bay to hire a guy not only from college but from the Big East Conference, and someone who hasn't had as much success as Nick Saban or Pete Carroll or Jim Harbaugh, who some of them have struggled in the NFL, and it's not easy. This is going to be a tough challenge for Greg Schiano, and definitely a tough challenge for Rutgers to find a new coach soon and to keep most of their recruits and keep building on their program. Let's head to the MLB, where the Detroit Tigers signed Prince Fielder to a 9-year, $214 million contract. That is where Prince Fielder grew up, and I think this gives them an early edge to be the AL favorites. They made it to the AL Championship Series last year against the Texas Rangers. They beat the Yankees in the ALDS. You obviously have Justin Verlander, who is the best pitcher in the game. You have Miguel Cabrera, who's one of the best players in the MLB, who hits 350 every season. You have Austin Jackson, a great young player in center field who can also hit. And I think just adding Prince Fielder to that mix at first place just makes this team so strong and so powerful on the offensive side. And their pitching in the postseason has proved that they can get the job done. So, you look around the AL and you look at the Yankees, who are aging. You lose Jorge Posada. Your infield and outfield hasn't changed that much. They did trade for Michael Pineda from the Seattle Marlins, but all in all, I don't think that will help them tremendously. The Boston Red Sox, they are a good team, but after that Terry Francona deal and everything, that their collapse towards the end of the season, I think that rolls over a little bit into this season. The Texas Rangers, obviously signing Yu Darvish could be huge, but who knows, whenever signing a pitcher like that from Japan, we have seen it work out, we have seen it not work out, so it's a risky choice. But if it does go well for them, they have just as good a shot as the Detroit Tigers. Obviously, you have that great lineup with Josh Hamilton, their premier star. So I think the AL has some great teams, and I think the National League has lost definitely some key players in Albert Pujols to the Los Angeles Angels, and now Prince Fielder. I think the Phillies by far have an edge this season in the NL, of course, with that great pitching staff, as always. And, they can hit. I just don't see much competition for them in the National League. And I think for the American League, it's great for them. Tons of competition. It should be a great upcoming season. And don't forget about the Tampa Bay Rays. They're always that sleeper pick who snuck up on the Red Sox last year to win the wild card. And, they have great young talent, as always, on the offensive side. And, of course, their pitching rotation. So never count them out. But I do like the Detroit Tigers as the early favorite in the American League. Super Bowl. This Super Bowl is 1 week and 2 days away from kickoff. The New England Patriots and the New York Giants. We have tons of coverage coming up starting next week on Monday afternoon. I'll take you through the entire week, and we'll get you ready and set for that game. That'll do it for me. Australian Open men's final, Rafa Nadal and Novak Djokovic. I'm taking Djokovic in 5. I like the way he plays. Remember, Super Bowl coverage all next week will lead you up to that game. This is the Double H Show.